All right, everybody. Today we're going to discuss a little bit of two-dimensional lists. Now we had one dimension, which is what we see here, and if I were to print it, let me pull up the magnifier here. Just simply print what we got here, A. I'll print that list, right? That entire thing. Now, I can, of course, come back side by side here. Yep. I can print a 0, and that should be the 0 location here. You'll see, if I can get it all on the screen at once, that's 1, which is that first location. Now, this is a single dimensional array. It starts with 0, 1, 2. Now, if I want a two-dimensional list or array, let's go with the same layout here. And we'll just add a little space. It doesn't really matter. They're numbers, so they don't really care. Okay. There we go. So now I have a two-dimensional array. And if I were to run this, before when I ran A0, I displayed 1, right? If I run it as it is now, though, it displays that 0 being this whole section here. This is what's called a two-dimensional list, or two-dimensional array. Now, of course, if I hit 1, well, that's A0, that's A1. So I'll get the second option here, like that. Now, if I specify, let's say, A0, and I add another little icon here, A00, for example. This denotes A0 being this first location, A1 being this location. The second option is the individual item in each little list there. So this should print off 1 on my screen, right there. So I can use this to denote kind of the XY coordinate. The way this would typically look rather, is X. You'd have 1, 2, and 3. And then you'd have your Y, of course. Well, I should probably rephrase that a little bit, but 5 and 6. Rather not X, Y, but this would be A0, that would be A1 in this case. A0, and that would be A1. So the individual items here would be your second option. This would be 0, this would be 1, this would be 2. So A02 would be this. A12 would be this one. And that's kind of how you navigate a two-dimensional list. You'll see it goes across and it goes up and down. So pretty simple, and you can do more than just put in numbers. I could put in text, I could put in various other things. We could put in characters or strings or, of course, integers and floats and other things. So you can fill your list with pretty much whatever you want. In this case, I've set it up at the start and just put whatever I needed in it. Now, if I were to do that, for example, and run it, let's see how well, whether it likes it or not. I actually haven't tried it, so. This is roughly what it would look like if you were actually, like, navigating it. It doesn't seem to have much of a problem with it, so. There we go. I'm assuming because you have this kind of brace or bracket that covers the whole thing, but normally you'd be up here around this, but it seems to be okay as long as it's within the closing brace. If you want to do it this way, just to make it a little easier to visualize. Java wouldn't care, and it seems Python, at least as long as you've got these outer boxes, doesn't care. Oh, and this denotes that it's a two-dimensional because I've got 2 boxes around it. Of course, I could have another if I wanted to. Let's see here, 7, 8, 9. And this is still two-dimensional, it's just I have an extra row. I would have, in this case, an A2. But it would still be two dimensions. Now I'd need to add, well, another direction going the other way if I want to do 3. You can make these single dimension, 2 dimension, or 3 dimension if you really wanted to. Let's run this and see what we get. A2, run. And I should get that last one that I've added. So I can make this as big or as small as I need it to be. It just depends on what I need from it, pretty much. And that's kind of just a quick rundown of two-dimensional lists in this case. And again, you can put other stuff in here, but that's how you would access it. Now, I should also mention, if you wanted to access things individually, we could use a simple for loop or a while loop to cycle through these things if we want. And it works roughly the same. I can make a simple for loop, print 0, 1, 2, and you see it'll print the row going across. If I want to print the individual item, it would be 2 for loops, actually, or while loops, depending on what you want to do. And I and j would basically just be where these locations are. 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, that sort of thing. So, there you go.